in the White House to make our country all it should be.
We are going to create an economy that works for working people, not just the billionaires.
There is only one campaign in a position to beat Donald Trump and win the Republican nomination.
We will address our problems right here in our hometown and revive the spirit of America right here.
You have to be honest, you have to be correct, and you have to be truthful, but you can't say whatever you want to say.
Get out tomorrow and vote. Think about your children. Think about your family. Get out tomorrow and vote, okay?
And they have been voting up to now, and Donald Trump getting a lot of those votes. That is, of course, the candidates making their final push. Let's get right to it. Florida and Ohio primaries today, and let's face it, it is the last stand for Marco Rubio and John Kasich. And look who is here, Kat Timpf, to join us to talk about this. Let's begin with Marco Rubio, Kat. If he loses Florida today, and the polls suggest he's down heavily to Donald Trump, he's got to go home, right?
He should already. If you think about it in terms of cost-benefit analysis, let's say he somehow wins Florida. Not gonna. But if he does, he just gets to stay in the race a little longer, ultimately lose the nomination. But if he loses, that's politically humiliating to lose your own state, which he's probably going to do. So I don't know why he's still, I mean, I guess...
Was him getting down and dirty with Donald Trump, the hands reference and all that, was that the final nail, you think, in his campaign?
Well, I think it made him look desperate because he himself said, oh, I'm not going to go to this level of these personal attacks. And the fact that he did do that proves that he was, oh, I don't know what else to do. And it was a very desperate move. And he's just not as good at it as Trump is.
Yeah, no, he isn't. Quickly,
whether that's a good or bad thing, I'm just saying it doesn't work as well for him. Right?
John Kasich said if he doesn't win Ohio, he's going to drop out. Some polls have him slightly ahead. Others have him tied. The Fox News poll had him tied. What happens if he doesn't win?
Look, I like John Kasich, but even if he does win Ohio and, you know, Trump wins Florida, he'd need 110% of the delegates, which is more than 100, and you can only get 100% at most. So, you know, I'm not a mathematician, but what's he doing?
Well, you know what? He's always told it. He sees himself as the grown-up in the room,
right?
But it doesn't necessarily translate. But it doesn't fire up the voters like a Donald Trump.
That makes sense, but it doesn't matter how grown-up you are if you're not getting the votes, which is how you win elections, is votes.
All right, we shall see. It's a big day for those two candidates for sure. Kat, thank you. Let's focus on the Democrats. Bring in Anthony Scaramucci, who would have thought, Mooch, that a socialist might run away with it? What's going on in this country?
Well, you know, he's the polar opposite of Donald Trump, actually. And so what he's doing is he's preying on those same fears, basically, Ashley. And so he's the guys on the right are gravitating to Trump. The guys on the left are gravitating to Bernie. But, you know, the adage, don't wrestle with a pig because you end up muddy and then the pig likes it, that's been Donald Trump, right? And so what will happen here will be very interesting. I was at an event yesterday with a group of Democrats talking about Bernie Sanders. They've got him out of the race the way you sort of have the other Republicans other than Trump. If it's a Trump-Hillary bashing session, she's not ready for this sort of...
but already he's gone far beyond what they expected. If he does well today, particularly in the Midwest, because he appeals to a certain group of voters that Hillary Clinton apparently just can't connect with, how much of a shudder does that put through the Democratic Party if Bernie Sanders has a good day today, especially in the pivotal Midwest?
I personally don't think a big shudder, because I met with a group of guys yesterday, some of which are super delegates. They've controlled that process very differently than the Republicans. So the establishment of the Democratic Party is going to basically block Bernie Sanders from getting
very
anywhere
quickly
close to that nomination.
She may get the delegates in a clinical sense, but she doesn't have any momentum, does she? It's all very dry.
She's running the exact same campaign as she ran in 2008. A lot of underperformance, a lot of bad sound bites, a lot of misremembering things. I don't want to call her a liar, but I mean, she misremembers things, right? And so
we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Well, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but when she goes head-to-head with Donald Trump, they are not ready for that, okay? Let me tell you who underestimated Donald Trump, the Jeb Bush campaign, the Scott Walker campaign. I'm 0 for 2. Okay, and so let me just put it to you this way.
You underestimated Donald Trump.
The guys that I wanted hired for the job, they didn't make it.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know whose choice is? The people's choice.
That's right.
And it looks like it's going to be Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's goodbye Rubio Tuesday. He did say he will retire. Boy, was he candidate interrupted by Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he started out so promising he was going to take on Jeb Bush. He was called the new Obama version. You know, that was Obama's rise to the presidency, his path. But wow, again, candidate interrupted is Rubio.
Goodbye,
Rubio Tuesday.
I know How long did you think about that?
Not long, because I know you love the Beatles, so I was like to try to get the Rolling Stones
Good
in
for
there.
you. All right,
let's steal that from you later on.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that soundbite.
It's a good one.
Give EMAC a royalty. All right. Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered a partial pullout of the Russian military from Syria. He said his troops largely achieved their combat goals. And I guess what was the goal? To keep Assad in power?
Yeah, it looks like that. And so basically what this looks like a surprise early withdrawal. Russia is saying we're still going to keep several hundred personnel on the ground there. But it's too early, they are saying, to say mission accomplished. They did take out 17 field commanders, 2,000 rebels. ISIS, though, still controls big swaths of the country. So that's why Russia is saying we are still going to continue to do airstrikes, Ashley. They did take out, you know, the Russian, the Chechen military commander called Omar the Chechen, who was recruiting ISIS, the personnel in the Caucasus.
You always have to read between the lines with Vladimir Putin.
That's
we'll talk more of that, by the way, more on Putin and Syria about 40 minutes from now when we chat with Lieutenant Colonel Alan West.